We all know Jamaica is a global superpower when it comes to speed. You see the gold medals, you see the world records just getting shattered. But have you ever stopped and wondered what all that incredible talent is actually worth in cold, hard cash? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
So it really all comes down to this one huge question. Let's forget the records and the glory for just a second and talk numbers. What is the fastest human being on the entire planet really worth?
The answer? $90 million. That's the estimated net worth of Usain Bolt over his career. And that number, that 90 million, is going to be our benchmark for everything else we talk about. But how he made that money, and more importantly, how it stacks up against everyone else, now that is the real story.
So here's how we're going to do this. Think of it like a pyramid of wealth. Right at the top, we've got the Bolt blueprint. Then we'll look at the kings of cricket, then the niche earners in track. After that, we have to tackle the great gender divide, and finally, we'll put it all in perspective and compare Jamaica to the rest of the world.
All right, first up, Tier 1. It's a pretty exclusive club, with a population of exactly one person, Usain Bolt. We're not just talking about an athlete here. We're talking about a one-man global brand, a financial force of nature that track and field had never, ever seen before.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Take a look at his earnings in his absolute peak year. Out of roughly $33 million, want to guess how much came from actually winning races? Less than $500,000. The other 98%, that was all from the power of his brand, his fame, his charisma, not his legs.
That power created an absolute empire of endorsements from some of the biggest companies in the world. But the bedrock, the foundation of all of his wealth, is that massive Puma deal. We're talking $10 million a year for life. To put that in perspective, it's basically the track and field version of what Michael Jordan has with Nike. It's legendary.
Okay, so let's move on to Tier 2, because here we find a totally different playbook for building a fortune. We're actually going to switch sports entirely to talk about cricket's one and only universe boss, the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Gayle.
And the difference in strategy here is just fascinating. See, while Bolt was building a global brand, Chris Gayle became the ultimate freelance superstar, a mercenary in the best way possible. His millions didn't really come from global sponsors. They came from gigantic salaries playing in T20 cricket leagues all over the planet, especially the Indian Premier League. And with a net worth around $45 million, Gayle's wealth is something you can really see and feel. We're talking about a legendary party mansion in St. Andrew with its own rooftop pool, his triple-century sports bar, and a car collection that just screams success. It's a different kind of fortune, built on being the best gun for hire in the game.
Now we're going to move down to Tier 3, which I like to call the working superstars of track. These are the absolutely phenomenal athletes who build multi-million-dollar careers, not through some massive global brand, but by being consistently dominant on the pro circuit and, well, by mastering the art of the appearance fee.
And to really get this tier, you have to understand that term, the appearance fee. It's like an industry secret. Before Bolt's star just exploded, the former world record holder Asafa Powell was the absolute king of this. Meet organizers would pay him up to $100,000 just to show up. Didn't matter if he won or lost, his presence alone was worth a fortune.
Okay, so you want a really cool way to see these financial tiers in real life? All you have to do is look at their wrists. It's called the watch game. And in this world, believe me, a watch does way more than tell time. It's a walking, talking balance sheet. It tells you exactly what level you're on. So, at the base level, you've got your Rolex, worn by guys like Asafa Powell. It's a solid, respected asset. In the middle, you get Bolt's Hublot. That's the stamp of a global ambassador. But at the very, very top, you have the Richard Mille. They call it the billionaire's handshake for a reason. Johan Blake wears one while he's sprinting that's worth over $800,000. That's not a watch, that's literally a house on your wrist. Now, as much as those watches show a clear hierarchy among the men, they also shine a bright light on an even bigger, more troubling gap we have to talk about. The great divide between the medals an athlete wins and the money they make, especially when it comes to gender.
Just look at the raw numbers here. They're pretty shocking. Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce is an icon, a legend, with the same number of Olympic gold medals as Bolt. But her peak shoe deal, worth about 15% of his. Her appearance fees, a tiny fraction of what he could command. You see, the athletic success is comparable, but the earning power is just on a completely different planet.
And when you see it laid out like this visually, it's just staggering. It's not really a gap, it's a canyon.
It's a clear, powerful look at how the sponsorship market has historically valued a male champion versus a female champion. It's profoundly unequal.
So it all comes down to this one fact, and it's a tough one. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who is arguably the greatest female 100-meter sprinter of all time, has an estimated net worth that is less than 10% of Usain Bolt's. That single sentence, it pretty much sums up the entire issue.
Okay, so for our final section, we need to zoom all the way out. We've established that Usain Bolt is the undisputed king of track and field wealth. But to really, truly understand what that money means, we've got to put it on the biggest stage there is, the global sports economy.
So let's just reset our benchmark one more time. Usain Bolt's entire record-breaking legendary career earned in a net worth of about $90 million. Got that number in your head?
Okay.
Now, look at this number, $260 million. That's not a career total. That's what a global football icon like Cristiano Ronaldo earned in a single year. The sheer scale of money in a sport like global football just completely dwarfs everything else. It's not even the same game.
Let me say that another way, just so it really sinks in. Cristiano Ronaldo earns Usain Bolt's entire career net worth every 5 months. It's an absolutely mind-bending statistic, and it perfectly shows you the financial ceilings that exist between different sports.
So that brings us all the way back to our final question. What's the real price of speed? After all this, it seems like the answer has less to do with how fast you are and everything to do with the arena you happen to be running in, who's in the stands watching, and yeah, maybe what's on your wrist when you cross that finish line.